Hey, so you might have seen in the new Podman AI Lab release that there's a new recipe in the catalog that's called the RAG chatbot. Now, what exactly is this? So this is a great starting point for RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it's a technique that helps to overcome some of the limitations of large language models. So while foundation models typically deal with knowledge cutoff as an issue up until the point where they were trained, what RAG does as a pattern is actually allows us to utilize external, private, and personal data and augment the original prompt that a user gives with that additional information so that the LLM can provide the best response back. Now, back here in Podman Desktop, I'm actually going to go ahead and start this recipe over here on the top right corner by choosing a model, for example, the Mistral 7 billion parameter Apache 2.0 model. And what this is actually going to do is check out the original source code for this repository, and it's going to use the model that I have in order to create three different containers. First, we have an inference server. Secondly, we have a Chroma DB vector database that's going to store and search through our data. And then finally, we're going to have an inference app that's built on top of Python Streamlit so that we can make queries to our RAG application. And just like that, we have the RAG chatbot running locally in Podman Desktop. So let's go ahead and see this in action. I'm going to go ahead and open up the port for the UI here into my browser, and I'll ask a simple question, one that the model might not know. So we're going to ask, what's Dan Walsh from Red Hat's favorite team? And so we get an answer back that we don't have information in the context for this question. So what I'll go ahead and do is upload a quick little bio that has Dan Walsh's information, but also a little bit of text there at the bottom about his favorite team. And so what's happening here is that we're essentially loading into this vector database through embeddings this information contextual to Dan Walsh, so that when we ask a question next time about Dan Walsh, it's going to perform a similarity score to retrieve the relevant information about Dan and provide that into the response that I get from this model. And so let's go ahead and try to ask a specific question from that bio. For example, is Dan Walsh a Celtics fan? And so what happened is that when we did the conversion of the document into embeddings and stored that in the vector database, now we can perform a similarity score in order to pull back that information and provide it back into the response using this RAG pattern. And we get the information here. And this is really one of my favorite use cases of generative AI. So you can try this out at the Podman AI Lab from Podman Desktop. All you have to do is go to the extensions to download the latest release of Podman AI Lab. And you can even go to the recipe in order to understand some of the source code behind the application itself, understand the container file for containerizing it, and be able to create your own examples and build applications using this pattern as well. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see ya.